The Flipside of board games is sponsored in part this month by Peacekeeper Games, publisher of the puzzly game Gearworks. Take on the role of budding inventors intent on proving your mettle. Play your gears carefully as clever card placement helps you control areas of the board and reward the parts you need to build fantastical contraptions and score points at the end of the game. It's an interesting marriage of steampunk and Sudoku. A special bundle is currently available on their website, which includes a free deluxe playmat. And a new Kickstarter campaign will be running from March 12 to 31, 2024. Go check it out. Hey everyone, welcome, and glad that you are here. If you're not here yet, I'm talking to open airs. That's fine as well. If you're watching later, thank you for joining us here. We appreciate it. If you are watching right now, live, you've not said hello yet, I'd like you to do that just so that I know that you're here. And I want to hear from you during this contribution of content. Now, what do we do with live reviews? Basically, what we do here is we're going to go through all of the regular things that you would expect to see in a board game review from me or maybe anybody else, but it's all going to be live, and we're doing that so that we can hear your input as well. What do you think? What questions you might have about certain aspects of the game from here and there? We'll take breaks throughout the course of the review so that I can answer those questions that come up in the chat, and that's pretty much it. We're going to give a rating. I'm going to give a rating at the end of the review, and we'll have some final thoughts and all of that good stuff as well. So we're just going to go ahead and get to it. Rob Trotter is here. Hello, hello. John Froelich is here. Hello. This game is so fire. Well, I appreciate that vote. We are going to absolutely talk about how I feel about the game, but I do want to just get into how the game works first of all. I do want to talk also about the statistics of the game. Usually, if I do a recorded review for the Dice Tower, I'll have a screen that stays up there for about 8 to 10 seconds. That just gives you the basic stats of the game so that you kind of know what you're going to be looking at before I start talking about all the other stuff. So this is a game for 1 to 4 players, and we've played it here on the channel as a solo play. I've done that, and we've also done, I believe, a 2-player game of it live with myself and my wife Jessie. And then I've been able to teach the game a couple of times. I just got back from Dice Tower West last week, and I was able to teach it once there. I've taught it once in other game days as well. So I've played this a number of times, including a couple of times with the developer, Costa, from Pythagoras. So I do have, I think, a valid amount of experience with the game, and so we're going to go ahead and get to it. 1 to 4 players, 50 to 100 minutes. That seems like it's a little bit of a large window. I think it might last a little bit less than that. I think you'd probably top out at about 90 minutes for this game, about an hour and a half altogether. Ages 10 and up, okay, I could see that. I could see a 10-year-old being able to play this game. I don't know that they'll be able to play it well, but with that having been said, I think that each kid is an individual. So if one 10-year-old doesn't get it, there could be a plethora of reasons why they didn't get it, why they don't like it, or whatever. But another 10-year-old might dig it and do very well at it. So it's really up to you. Ages, I really don't put a whole lot of stock in ages on the box. So take that for what it's worth. Weight is a 2.86 out of 5. That seems a little heavy-handed. I don't think I would rate it that heavily because that's close to a 3, and my wife's threshold for enjoyment is usually not a 3. It's usually below a 3, probably about a 2.5 or lower is where she really enjoys games, and she enjoyed this one. So we'll see. We'll see about that. I don't really think it. Orlando Sa is the designer, good designer. a great designer's name there. Mihailo Dmitrievsky is the artist. You might recognize the art from the Garfield game lines that are superbly popular right now. And Pythagoras is the publisher, sorry. Now, some of the mechanisms, we have area majority and influence, and then we have hand management and a rondel. Okay, the main mechanism there is the rondel, and we'll kind of get that later on. A rondel generally is you have a circle of sorts that you'll be able to stop at different points and do different actions throughout the course of the game. And as you'll see in just a few moments when we go down to the board, you will see that rondel in full force. So you'll see that. Hand management, definitely you'll have to hand manage. You'll have to manage the the cards that are in your hand as kind of like resources. Use them at certain times to do certain things, whether it's fighting off the Romans or building up your fortifications. And then area majority influence, there is some of that in there because you're going to be scoring more points if you help build up some of these fortifications. But what you score points for, and this is one of the, I think, interesting things about the game, what you score points for is actually determined over the course of the game. You don't have a whole bunch of things set up that you are definitely going to score points for. There are some things that you will get points for, and you know that, but what you're going to score a larger number of points for is chosen by the players throughout the course of the game, and we'll talk about that too. So whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. And that's pretty much the overview and the statistics that are there. So with that being in mind, Muso Games, what's up, Sam? You the man, the myth, and the legend. Thank you, Muso Games. I appreciate that. That is a vote for confidence, and I appreciate it. I sincerely do. I'm not just saying that. Thank you for being here. Let's see here. Let's get back to my thing here. All right. Let's go ahead and get down to the game table, and we will talk about the different aspects of the game and what makes it pretty stinking cool, in my opinion. That's a little bit of foreshadowing, but you get the idea. All right, so here we have the board set up, and I have this set up for a two-player game. So each player is going to have their own board. And then they're also going to have some pieces which actually fit very nicely into the board that they're given. So you have down here on the bottom side of the board, you have your military strength represented by this cube, and it will go up and down as you use your military strength in battles. You also have these discs that are here that represent your working on the different fortifications that are going to be out here on the board. And then you also have some cubes over here on the side of the board that's going to be able to be placed out here. Once you've defeated the Romans in battle, you can place one of your cubes out here, provided you have the right cards in your hand to do so. And that will represent kind of like spoils of war, that kind of thing. And this is kind of a area majority as well, because the person who has the most cubes in these two areas on the board at the end of the game, they're going to score 1 point for each of their cubes there. So not a whole lot of points, but you will be able to score some. All right, so generally speaking, the game is going to take place in a number of rounds equal to, well, not necessarily equal to, but very close to how many of these pegs are out here on the scoring track, which we'll get to in just a few moments. Basically, every time this pawn, or peuple, will go around the board and crosses the river right here, whoever has this token is going to take the topmost peg and choose which card they're going to place it on, which scoring card they're going to place it on. And that is that mechanism I was talking to you about earlier, where what is scored at the end of the game is, and for how many points, is chosen as you go throughout the game. So keep that in mind as we talk about other things. But generally speaking, on your turn, you're going to be able to move the purple, or the pawn here, 1 to 3 spaces. So if you move it 1 space, looking right down here on the board, you're able to gain 1 military strength. If you move it 2 spaces, Again, starting from here, 1 and 2, nothing happens. It's just you can take a regular action. And then if you move it 1, 2, 3 spaces, you're actually going to lose some military strength. You're basically marching your army too much, and they're losing their effectiveness because they're so tired. But if you take it easy, they are able to save their strength, and you actually get some extra military strength. So let's just say we move 1, then they'll be able to move their military strength up by 1 right there. Now, once you're at a corner of this rondel, you have 2 islands that you can basically choose to perform an action on. So if you choose this island right here, there are 2 actions you can choose. You can either choose to do farming, which is where you're going to get more cards down there at the bottom of the board, or you can choose to build, which is where you're going to use cards out of your hand in order to build up the fortifications that are at these places down here. In the south, if you're on this island, if you stop at one of these 2 places, your farming and building will be done up here in the northern half of the board. All right, so here, if you if you don't choose to do farming or building, you can choose to do a recruit action from this spot. Recruit action simply means that you're going to be taking these workers that you start with or some others that you've accrued during the course of the game, and you're actually going to recruit them into your clan so that they are permanent fixtures in your clan. These are ones that can kind of rotate and come in and come out, but once they are down here, they're considered a permanent fixture in your clan, and they're always going to be there in addition to the ones that you have out here that are floating. So that's the first thing that you can do, is you can recruit one into your clan. Now, if you have one of these guys that's part of your floating clan, you could actually do another one. So you get to recruit 1 plus 1 for every leader that you have, and that's what this iconography out here means. Additionally, if you already have people in your clan, you can come out here, and this is denoted down here, and you can recruit druids to become part of your clan as well. Again, if you're up here, you're doing it from this bank. If you're down here, you're doing it from this bank. And the way you recruit druids into your clan is by satisfying the requirements that are on these druid tokens. So in order to get this one, in order to recruit a druid from the north right now, you would have to have a builder and a fighter already in your clan, and basically send them off to train to be a druid, and you'd then be able to take that druid and put it into your clan. You would also take this token, and it becomes 1 point for you at the end of the game as well. If you're down in the south, you'd have to get rid of a fighter and a leader in order to do that, but then you would take the druid from this side, and you'd take this token, and then you would reveal the one underneath it for the next person. Once these druid tokens are gone, then nobody's able to take those druid actions anymore. So if it empties out down here in the south first, and there's still some here, the only way you'd be able to get a druid is by coming to this location. Well, why would you want druids in your clan? Well, it's pretty much listed right here. A druid can become basically a wild person in your clan, and they can count for a farmer, a builder, or a fighter, whatever you would need in whatever special circumstance you find yourself later on. Whereas this one can only be a fighter, this one is only a builder, this one's only a farmer. So druids can basically act as any one of those 3 at any given point in time, depending upon what you need. Now, one thing that we didn't talk about yet is when you come to one of these places, the island that you choose to carry out the action, before you do the action, you can actually swap one of your floating clan members here for one of the ones that are out here. So if you're choosing to do if you're going to choose to do a building action, you might want more builders in your army, so you might swap this farmer out for one of these builders, and now you have 2 farmers. Why is that important? Because when you build, builders. When you build, you're going to discard a number of cards, minus 1 card for every builder that you have in your army. So here, if I'm going to build my first one, it says that I need to discard 3 cards But because I have 2 builders out here, I would only need to discard 1 to be able to place this one out wherever I wanted to. And where you're able to place them is denoted by the different colors that are at the tops of the cards when you play them out of your hand. So that's why it's important to have builders. Maybe you're coming here to do a farmer action then, which in that case, maybe you want to get rid of this builder and swap it out. And so now you're able to do a farming action, which you're going to be able to get 1 card for free. And that's the one that's over there that doesn't have any cost requirements. But then, depending on the number of farmers that you have in your clan already, so for example, I have 2, then I can purchase more cards depending upon how many farmers I have. So since I just have 2 farmers, I could take 2 of the ones that have a single cost requirement, or I could take 1 of the ones that have a double cost requirement. Just depends on what you're looking to get into your hand. The things that are in your hand are, for example, these. Let me see if I can get, I need a tower. Is there a tower down there? Yes, there is. Good. All right, so you have these kinds of cards that are in the deck. So they basically have 2 different kinds of things. They have a color at the top, which is going to be used for building fortifications. The color will match the fortification that you're trying to build into. But then they also have military strength at the bottom. And this comes into effect when you're doing a fighting action over here. So let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. So let's say that this person has 1 fighter in their army right now, but they land here and they want to fight out here. So you're going to basically swap one of your farmers for a fighter, and now you have 2 fighters in your army, and you're going to try to defeat these guys out here that have a military strength of 8. So the way you will do this is that you're going to be accruing, let's say that you've accrued, I don't know, over the course, maybe you've got 4 military strength. Let's just say that that's the case. You already have accrued 4 military strength because you've been dutiful in just going 1 step each time. So over the course of the turns, you've accumulated 4 military strength. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 farmers and you're going to use cards out of your hand. And let's just kind of go ahead and stack my deck here, that have the same military icon at the bottom. So if I wanted to, I could discard, let's see, I have 4 military strength and I need 8. So I could discard these 2 cards right here because they are both shields at the bottom. The color doesn't matter up here at the top, but because these 2 shields match, each of my fighters are going to be worth 2 military strength. So if I have 2, 4, and I already have 4 military strength, that takes me up to 8. And now I need to use 8 or more I need to have 8 or more to defeat them. So I move my military strength back down to 0. I've defeated these guys, and that becomes a point for me at the end of the game. Then, we talked about these squares earlier, I can discard another card out of my hand if it, and it doesn't have to match the cards that you played for military value, but you'll be able to place one of your cubes coming from the top of that thing in that space right here, matching the kind of card that you discarded. And so that's going to be points at the end of the game for you as well. The amount of strength can fluctuate. For example, this 1-pointer is only 6, but then you have 2 pointers, which is worth 10, and another 2-pointer, which is worth 11. But they kind of go all over the place. You have a couple of 7s down here for 1 point, and then you have a couple of 12s for 2 points. So you can see the number of points that you can get from those. And then, as I said earlier, you will also be able to get points for having a majority of cubes in these areas down here and down here in the south. Now, there's just a couple other things that we haven't really explained yet. When you build, let me just go ahead and put these back out here. When you build in the north or in the south part of the board, you are going to be placing your discs in these different spots, like so. Once a fortification has filled up the person who finishes it gets to take this token and take the benefit. So this was just basically a straight up 3 military strength that they would be able to add to their power there. This one over here allows you to immediately recruit one of your clan people, one of your people into your clan. And then that's good. This one gives you a token that has a couple of different uses. You can use it to do an action as if the pawn was adjacent to the location with one additional, or it can be just another additional worker in your clan if you're doing whatever you want. So they could have used this over here during that fight as an extra fighter, meaning that they would have had 2, 4, 6 plus 4, 10. So, but that would have been a little bit of overkill. Finally, this token over here basically just allows you to draw 2 cards from the top of the deck. So those are that. Now, the reason it is important is because once at the end of the game, if the fortifications are completely built, like this one right here, for example, even though this has some building done to it, it's not complete because it doesn't have one over here. But each fortification that is completely built, the people who helped build it are going to get a point each for their work in doing that. But that doesn't happen until it is completely finished. So that's another reason why you might be building it up like that. But these bonus tokens also help out pretty well during the game as well. Now, finally, like I said here, is that every time the pawn passes this river here and goes back to, I'm just going to get these out of the way, sorry, and goes back to its starting spot, or it just passes this river, doesn't have to necessarily stop here, the person who has this token is going to choose where this goes. And so this is basically where we begin to formulate what is going to score and for how many points. So if I put this here, this means that whoever has 2 or more discs on blue fortifications, they're going to score a point at the end of the game. If I put it here, whoever has the most discs on purple fortifications is going to score 1 point during the game. Whoever has the most bonus tiles, which are these things right here, will score a number of points, either 1 or 2. Whoever has the most discs on the pink fortifications will score 1 or 2 points. Down here, this could be as much as 3 points. This one here, whoever has 3 or more druid tiles will be able to score, whether they are 1 or 2 points, will be able to score a number of either 1, 2, or 3 points, depending on how many of these pegs go down here. So as people, as the pawn crosses this river, more of these will come out, and people will be formulating what scores over the end of the game. Now, once we pass this track right here, this part of the track where it says, has a little green card with a recycle symbol on it, that has to do with our leaders. Everybody starts with a leader, excuse me. And that leader is going to give you a point bonus if you finish their requirement at the end of the game. So Boudica here wants you to have 3 or more discs placed out here on fortifications, and if you do, she's going to give you 1 point at the end of the game. But at this point right here, where we have this line with the green card in it, I can choose to flip her over to the B side, and that means if I have 7 or more, she's going to give me 3 points. But here's the thing, if I don't accomplish that by the end of the game, then I don't get anything. So it's a little bit of a push your luck mechanism for your leader. It's a definite 1 point if you reach this, but once we reach this point in the game, you can choose or not choose to flip it over, possibly score more points, or just stay safe and get that one that you know you're probably going to get. Once that person has chosen what peg this goes to, this will go to the next person in clockwise order, and then when the pawn crosses the river again, they will choose where it goes, and then it goes to the next person, and so on and so forth, until when all of these are placed out here in whatever shape, form, or fashion. Maybe there was one down here, and maybe it was something like this. I don't know. We'll see. It just depends. It's really dependent upon the game and what the decisions the players make. Once that happens, the round will finish so that everybody has the equal number of turns, but then everybody, starting with the first player and continuing on for everybody else in the game, you'll take 2 actions in a row, 2 full actions in a row. And then at the end of that, you'll score points. Whoever has the most points is the winner. And they do include a nice little score pad here for you to do that. It's not very difficult. You count out how many fortification bonuses we get, how many bonus chips, how many druid tiles, how many points you get from fighting the Romans. If anybody put out all 4 of their discs, you'll get a point for that. I'm sorry, no, that's not this. That is scoring your points for a majority of cubes here. Then the last thing well, one of the last things before going over here is that some of these spots for recruiting, like if you recruit 1, 2, 3, 4 people, and you have 4 people in your clan at the end of the game, you're going to get a point. If you have 6 people in your clan recruited into your clan, you'll get 2 points. 7, 8, you get 3 points. As you build these different discs into the fortifications, 1, 2, 3, 4 gets you 1 point, 5, 6 gets you another point, 7 gets you another point, 8 gets you another point, 9 gets you another point. So there's a number of different things that you can score for on your player board. And then you'll get, again, if you used all 4 of your things, you'll get a point there. Then you'll count up all of these and divvy those points out. And then you'll get points for your leader. Then whoever has the most points is the winner. And that is, as quickly as I possibly could, how Celtae runs. So, let me go over here. Did you already say if it plays well at 2? All right, let me go ahead and get back to the top screen here. And we're going to turn that off. And does it play well at 2? I have not said that yet. I'm just basically going over the how the game plays. Now, there's one thing I do need to talk to you about. Sorry, let's go back down to the table just real quick because it's an important part of the game, I think. Now, recruiting right here. I already explained to you that you could, when you come to a place. Boom, you come to the place, you're going to choose recruiting. You can say, I'm going to take this guy, so that's normal. Now, I'm going to recruit a farmer, and if I have a leader in my group, then I can also recruit a second one. I'm going to have him be that. Well, let's say that I'm down here doing this. Then, when I send out my guys to get a druid, I have to send a blue and a red, so because that's what this tile is looking for. I'm able to get those. Then I take a druid from here and they go directly into my clan. Now, you'll see here that now I only have 1 in my floating clan, so now I need to fill that up. So what I would do is I would come over here and I would take any 2 so that I have 3 back in my clan, and then I would refill from the bag here more tokens to go into that center area. I could have taken another leader, but I chose not to for whatever reason. Another thing is that at any time during your turn, you can lose a military strength to wipe away the ones that are there and put 3 more out, like so. And then the 3 that I wiped away go back into the bag, and now I can swap one of my people out for that one, and so forth. So that's a couple of things that I forgot to tell you about, but it is important. All right, now we're done. We can go back up to the top. Sorry about that. Does it play well at 2? I believe that it does play well at 2. And the reason that I have this set up as 2 is because that's probably the way I'm going to be playing it more often than not. My wife does enjoy the game. She likes it, and she will play it with me. And we're home and and around each other a lot more than we are around other people. So I would imagine the majority of times that I play this game, it will be with 2. But I have played it with 3 and 4, and it works very well at all of the different player counts. One of the things that I like about solo modes, and this is one of the good things about it, is that if it mimics the multiplayer experience well, then I'm really on board for solo mode play. I generally like to have the same kind of experience with solo mode to multiplayer modes. And this one is one of those games that gives a very similar experience. You don't have a whole lot of wonky stuff going around, and it doesn't feel like I'm playing a different game when I'm playing solo mode. And so that's a good thing in my opinion. But to answer your question, Muso Games, yes, I believe it plays well at 2. And one of the reasons why I believe it plays well at 2 is because most of the things out here on the board, as you can see, you see these white markers out here. These are actually placeholders to shut those places down. So you're in essence making the board smaller. The number of places you can go is smaller. The number of scoring pegs that go out are reduced by 3 and 4 players. So if you don't have 3 and 4 players, you're only putting out these right here on the scoring markers, which is what I have it set up for. And the same thing over here for druids. There's 2 less druids in the north and the south for 2 players, and then there is 1 spot already taken up on each of these things, so you can only send out 2 to each one throughout the course of a game. So I think it pulls in the purse strings, if I can put it that way, for 2 players very well. And I also think it handles well 3 and or 4 players too, because your turns are pretty quick. They don't take a long time. You already know kind of what you're going to do before you can get to it. The only thing you have to really wait for to think about what you're going to do is how many places the person before you moves it. Once they have moved the pawn as many places as they're going to, you can start calculating what you're going to do on your turn, so that when it comes to your turn, boom, you're ready to go. And that's usually enough time. Having 1 turn of time to choose what you're going to do is plenty, because this isn't a very convoluted game at all. It's very straightforward. One of the cool things about the game is that a lot of the information that you might be prone to be looking up in the rule book throughout the course of the game is printed on the board. For example, what happens if I only move 1 spot? Well, it's printed right here. You get 1 military strength. What if I move 2? Nothing happens. What if I move 3? How much military do I have to lose if I move 3? You lose 3 because it's printed right there on the board. Wasn't there something that said that I could wipe all of the discs if I wanted to? What do I have to do with that? Well, it's printed right there on the board. Just lose 1 military strength. You can wipe all of those at any point and do that again. Those kinds of things. Even setup is printed on the board. And oops. Sorry. And I want to show that to you as well. Even setup is printed on the board as well. So that's pretty cool. So there's a lot of really neat things about the game, and I think a lot of thought went very well into a lot of different aspects of the game ahead of time to make the experience as seamless as possible for the players. And I think that's indicative by all of the different things that are on the board. Having all of the actions that are printed on the board. Yes, there's iconography, but it's really intuitive iconography. It's really well done, I thought. There wasn't a whole bunch of having to go back into the rule book to check this rule or that rule or anything like that. There was just a lot of fun play that was had. So, sorry, let me take a drink here. All right, so for my final thoughts of the game, I want to say that I think that this is a very fun game, and I think it's one of those games that will be an evergreen for me for a couple of reasons. First of all, and this will be my first pro, the aesthetic draw of the game is amazing. Now, I will say this: the box cover was the first thing that really drew me in, and it was a conscious decision that they made to not put the name of the game on the front box cover. They decided to stay with this stark artwork with a little bit of that UV shininess on it, so that it just popped just a little bit more. But the stare, the eyes of this female Celtic warrior, and just how they kind of bore into your soul, it just kind of grabs you. I will say that the first time, the very first time, this is an initial impression, that I saw that it was just wooden discs on the, I was like, well, but they've grown on me. They've grown on me. I think the component quality is really good. It's not just little chintzy cubes. They're nice, chunky wooden discs, and there's a lot of heft to them. And I like that they are printed on them. They're not just colored discs. They represent farmers, so they have that farmer symbol on them. They represent builders, so they've got a couple hammers on them. They represent warriors, so they've got a couple of swords on them. So that just helps you from the aspect of, and then the druids also have a different symbol. They help you, even if you can see colors, stay in the theme of the game. If you can see colors, that's the other cool thing about it. You don't have to know what colors they are. You have the symbols printed on each of the discs, and they're printed on both sides of the disc as well. So it doesn't matter if they're up or down, it's on both sides. The only place where color blindness was maybe forgotten about were your player discs, your player colors, but I think that might be less of an issue for most. Each of your discs on your player colors don't have anything printed on them, or your cubes, so you might get lost if you suffer from color blindness. You might get lost remembering where all of your places are, but every other aspect of the game than that has symbols that are associated with a certain color, and those connections can be made well and easily. So my first pro of the game, sorry, is that the artwork is amazing. The board, I think it could have been a lot busier than it actually is, but there's a lot of really neat kind of Easter eggs throughout the board. You can take time to look at those things. And each of the different spots that you're going to be stopping at, it's very clear what the different actions that are going to be available to you without relying upon words or anything like that. It's just the artwork helps you understand what you're able to do and what not able to do. And then the component quality is just is really good. I enjoy the component quality of this physical copy of the game. The cards are great, a little bit of a linen finish on them, and all of the wooden bits are chunky, and they don't feel flimsy to me. And then the cardboard tiles are also pretty dense and durable too. So the artwork and components definitely is a huge plus for me. My second pro of the game is going to be the fact that it uses it very well, a rondelle system. I like and I enjoy rondelle systems, and this one does it, I think, especially well. And I don't have a great deal of experience using rondelles. I just have enjoyed them in the past, and this one is one of the games that I've really enjoyed a lot. That uses that rondelle system. So that was a huge bonus for me. It gave me more interest to play the game before I really even knew much about it. But after playing it, I was like, man, this is so fun. It's so great, and it's so simple. It's so easy. And you know, there's not a whole lot of, if you go this far, then you get to do this, and if you go too far, there's not too much of that. It's very straightforward. It's this, or this, as far as how far you can move and what you have to do in order to do it. You don't have to spend extra resources to do that. You just lose a little bit of military might if you want to move further, or you get a little bit of military might if you don't move as far. So I like that simplicity of it. And but it still gave that, it still made that simplicity part of the decision-making process. So I really liked it. So that was my second, or maybe third, if you want to split apart the artwork and the components. That's my second or third pro. Is I really enjoyed the rondelle mechanism. As far as hand management is concerned, I do see why it's called hand management, because you're definitely using cards out of your hand to build up here or to help fight the Romans. I felt like it was less management and just basically working with what you had. I guess that might be two ways to say the same thing, but I felt like it was less of a hand management game and more of just your cards are kind of like a resource. You just simply have to, when you farm, you have to pick the right cards so that you have them in your hand when you need them. You know, kind of planning ahead, I guess, is hand management. But that just felt like a lesser mechanism, I guess. It just didn't. I was much more involved in the different times that I played the game. I was much more involved in what was going on with the rondelle and where I was going to have to go and how I was going to be able to accomplish what I was going to want to do. So, but the hand management is there. I'll just go ahead and concede that because it is there. It just wasn't a big thing for me. But it was done well. Don't get me wrong. Another pro for the game, and this one is probably one of the biggest ones because this is kind of one of the neatest things about the game for me, particularly, and that is how the scoring is chosen by the players throughout the course of the game. I love that mechanism. I love that mechanism. Now, it hasn't really helped me much because, you know, I'm not great at winning games, but I love playing games, and that mechanism of choosing what gets scored by different people throughout the course of the game, and that's another part of, well, how far do I want to move that pawn? Well, I don't want so and so to choose where that scoring peg goes because I know where he's going to put it, or I know where she's going to put it. So I might not cross the river right now. I might try to do something that's going to help me compete with them for what I know that they're going to put that peg down on, and those kinds of things and forethought really is a neat thing that is kind of forced upon you by the players choosing what scores at the end of the game. I really enjoy that. Having a leader at the beginning of the game is a cool thing. It might seem like very small. This is another pro, I guess. It might seem very small, but it gives me purpose. It gives me something to shoot for. And you're not just given one randomly. You're dealt two leaders, and you get to choose which one you want to do. So I really enjoyed that as well. I think it was a very small thing, but it really helps make the game just a little bit more personable for me in particular. As far as pros are concerned, I think that's about it. Cons for the game. I don't really have any cons for the game. I really don't. And I really kind of strive sometimes to have at least one con. But as I'm thinking about the game, I don't really have anything that I think it. I mean, I've already mentioned, I guess, the lack of some type of printed symbol on each of the players' markers to kind of at least help with the the colorblind nature that's there. So I guess if you want to use that as the con, I guess that would be the only thing that I have to say as far as a negative thing about the game. I really enjoyed every single aspect of this game. I've enjoyed teaching it to people. I've enjoyed seeing their faces light up when they are able to, kind of grok the rules and know what they're doing and know how they're going to be able to further themselves in the game. I like the fact that you're not scoring a truckload of points for everything, so you're not doing a whole lot of addition. You can basically do everything really fast. Scoring the game doesn't take half an hour like some games do. And I really enjoy that. It's just a great game. So we're going to go with 2 thumbs way up for Celtae. I really enjoyed the game a lot, and I'm looking forward to keeping this in my collection for a very long time, because it's one of those games that looks great on the table, has a great table presence, and the mechanisms and how you play the game is so simple that I think it's very easy to grasp, and it's very easy to teach, and 1 or 2 turns in, even a person that's new to gaming would probably be very savvy on what's going on. Granted that they're savvy on a couple of other things as well. So, but I think that this is a kind of game that you could take, and veteran gamers and new gamers alike will be able to enjoy it and have a lot of fun with it. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get to. Oh my gosh, really? Well, let me go ahead and I will fix that. Does it say that it's Ostia? Really? I didn't know that. I thought I changed it. Wow, I didn't save it. Poop nuggets. Poopy doopy doop doop. Sorry. I typed it all up and I didn't click save. That's my bad. I will change all of that. I apologize. I apologize. Thank you, Kabuki, for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate it. Ricardo Ferreira, hello from Portugal. Good to see you. Do you want a funny story about the game? Yes, we do, Ricardo. He says, I was the bridge between Miko and the publisher and the creator of the game for him to work on the game's arc. I really like Orlando's games. Well, Ricardo, you are amazing, my friend. Thank you. The cover is amazing, yes. And that's amazing. That's very cool, very cool. Ricardo is the fella that has done our logo, our new Flipside logo. So we thank you for that, Ricardo. We appreciate you. Yes, that is it is an amazing cover. It's super cool. It looks super great. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for seeing it. Orlando Saw is a great designer. I'm curious because I know his name, but I am not absolutely savvy on other games that he has done. I know he's done a ton of them, but let's see here. What have we got? Neotopia, Porto, Adamastor, Celtae, Pessoa, Rossio, Paper Roll and Write, and he has a number that are in development right now. Wow, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in development right now. So that's pretty cool. So that's awesome. Yep, I do like Orlando and his work, and we played Neotopia on the channel a few weeks back. Well, it's been probably a couple of months at this point when JT got his copy in, so that's cool. I appreciate it. You are welcome, Ricardo. I hope this game becomes more readily available soon. Pessoa is amazing and Neotopia too. Yeah. I believe I can say that I'm pretty sure that I thought Mayfair was the one that was going to be distributing Pythagoras games here in the United States, and I believe it's going to be happening pretty soon. I know that there was a Canadian distributor that also was proliferating it up in Canada. I met him at Calgary Tabletop Game Day. So that's pretty cool as well. So it should be soon. Rob, and very, very soon, I think. So we'll try to keep that on. I'll try to keep my ear to the ground on that. I'll contact Costa and see if he has any news on that, and I'll try to update everybody here on the channel at the very least. So go ahead and do that. All right. Well, we are pretty much done. This is 2 huge thumbs up from me. I love this game. And if you have the opportunity to pick it up, if you like rondelles, if you like games that look good on the table, if you like games that are easy to teach and maybe a little bit harder to master, but still very fun to play, this is right down your alley. I really think that this is going to do well. Hopefully it does really well. I know Mike DeLisio on the Dice Tower said that he gave this an 8. And I would probably be right there with him, if not a little bit higher. I'm probably around an 8.5 if we want to use a numerical rating system. Here on the Dice Tower, we just keep it with 2 thumbs up. I'm sorry, here on the Flipside, we just keep it simple. But I'd probably go a little bit higher, but I know Mike DeLisio really enjoyed the game. So that has some huge validity to it. He's very well known for his solo gaming. I talked to him about it at Dice Tower West. He said he really enjoyed the solo mode as well. So that adds some credibility to my 2 thumbs up, I hope. Mike's the man. And we agree definitely that Celtae is worth your time and effort to, at the very least, play. But at the most to pick up and add to your collection. So that's about it. Okay, what's upcoming? Mayfair is handling it, Rob Trotter says. Okay, cool. Very good, very good, very good. Let's see here. Bold to not have the game title on the cover, but that art makes you want to pick up the box and flip it over. That is correct. And I think that was the idea. That is exactly the idea. It's like the 2 eyes boring into your soul. How can you not look at this box? How could you not do that? And yes, it's a super, super great idea. What's upcoming? Well, what's upcoming? Tomorrow. Let's see here. Later on today, there's nothing else happening today. I am going to put a short video up later on for some stuff that's coming that I did at Dice Tower West. So there's going to be a short video coming up later today. But let's see. I released another review for a Pythagoras game on the Dice Tower today. Review for Cafe. So you can go check that out over on the Dice Tower. Tomorrow, I've got a live solo play of Origins First Builders. And then on Friday, the live play is going to be Dune, War for Arrakis. Me and JT are going to dive into it. I don't know who's going to be who, but that's what we're going to do on Saturday. On Friday. On Saturday, we are going to have an earlier Q&A with Jesse and I, because we actually have a season ticket holder event with the Wenatchee Wild. We're going to go have breakfast with the players at the Town Toyota Center, and that's going to be a fun time for the whole family. So we're going to do that, and that's at 8 o'clock. So we're going to have to, oh dear, we're going to have maybe, hopefully it's 8:30, so we can stay until 8 and then leave. I don't know. We're probably going to, we are going to have it be a little bit earlier on Saturday, so we can get that done before the rest of the day, because we've got that, and we want to have some time as a family, and then we've got a hockey game to go to Friday and Saturday night. So that's what you can have looking up forward to. The bottom 5 lucky games is going up on the Dice Tower on Friday, and then on Monday here on the flip side, you'll get the top 5 lucky games. So that'll be coming up. And then next Monday, we'll also have another fireside chat, and we'll talk about what the next week involves with that as well. So that's what's coming up in the near future. Thank you for joining us. Dune! Yes, Alley Log calendar time is correct. Tomorrow, what am I supposed to do with the rest of my day? Go back and watch the rest of this video. I don't know, man. Go over to the Dice Tower. Check out my review of Cafe. It's a really cool, another little cool card game, tile placement, card placement game from Pythagoras. You can check that out. And then I'll be posting another short, but you're going to have to do something because those videos are only going to take up about, about 20 minutes of your day. So you can go back and watch this one. That's another 55 minutes. So I got you for about an hour and a half for the rest of your day. You're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of it, though. I got to get out of here, though. I've got a meeting at church, and I got to pick up Jess on the way. So thank you for joining me. I certainly appreciate it. I hope this was informative. I hope you go check out Celtae and see what you think. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side now. Take care.